Hello everyone, and welcome back to Life Single Review. I'm so happy to see you here today. I hope you're all doing well and taking care of yourselves. Today we have an incredibly emotional story that will make you think about love, forgiveness, and the courage it takes to choose happiness. What happens when the man who once betrayed Huyen comes back asking for forgiveness? Can old love be rekindled after so much pain? Will Huyen choose the wealthy life her ex-husband offers? Or will she stay with Dae, the man who has nothing but genuine love? And what about Maya, this innocent child caught between two worlds? What future awaits her? This is a story about facing your past, making impossible choices, and understanding what truly matters in life. You're going to feel every emotion with Huyen as she stands at this crossroads. So before we dive in, please hit that like button, subscribe to Life Single Review, and turn on your notifications because you definitely don't want to miss how this unfolds. Trust me, this one will stay with you long after it ends. Let's begin. It's a peaceful morning at Dae and Huyen's modest home. Huyen is outside hanging laundry on the line, humming softly to herself as the warm sun touches her face. Life has been good lately, simple, but filled with the kind of happiness money can't buy. She's thinking about what to cook for dinner when she hears the sound of a car engine. That's unusual. Their neighborhood doesn't see many cars, especially not expensive ones. She turns around and freezes. A sleek black sedan pulls up in front of their house, looking completely out of place among the simple homes and dirt roads. The door opens, and a man steps out. He's wearing an expensive suit. His shoes are polished to a shine, and in his hands, he carries a large bouquet of flowers and wrapped gifts. But it's his face that makes Huyen's heart stop. Thuck, her ex-husband, the man who shattered her world years ago. For a moment, neither of them speaks. Thuck looks at her with an expression she can't quite read. Regret, longing, hope. Huyen stands there with a wet shirt still in her hands, completely stunned. She hasn't seen this man in years, not since their bitter divorce. Huyen, he says softly, taking a step closer. It's been so long. I need to talk to you. Huyen's first instinct is to tell him to leave, but the words catch in her throat. She manages to find her voice. We have nothing to talk about, Thuck. You need to go. But Thuck doesn't move. Instead, he looks past her toward the house with desperate eyes. Please, just a few minutes. I need to see Maya. She's my daughter, too. That's when Dae appears at the door. He'd heard the unfamiliar voice and came to check. When he sees Thuck standing there with flowers and gifts, looking every bit the successful man he is, something tightens in Dee's chest. He doesn't need an introduction to know who this is. The expensive car, the confident posture, the way Huyen has gone pale. This is the man from her past. Dae walks out to stand beside Huyen, his presence steady and protective. Is there a problem here? He asks, his voice calm but firm. Thuck sizes up Dae, taking in his worn work clothes, his calloused hands, his simple demeanor. There's a flash of something in Thuck's eyes, perhaps surprise that this is the man Huyen chose, or maybe pity that she's settled for so little. You must be Dae, Thuck says, his tone polite but carrying an undertone of superiority. "I'm Thuck, Huyen's husband." He pauses, then corrects himself with obvious reluctance. "Ex-husband. I came to talk to Huyen about Maya, about our family." The word "our" hangs in the air like a challenge. Dee feels his jaw tighten, but he doesn't respond. Instead, he looks at Huyen, silently telling her that this is her decision to make. The tension is thick enough to cut. Neighbors are starting to peek out of their windows, curious about the expensive car and the well-dressed stranger. Huyen stands between her past and her present, feeling the weight of both men's eyes on her. Her hands are trembling slightly, but she forces herself to stay composed. Whatever Thuck wants, whatever he's come here to say, she knows this moment is going to change everything. And somewhere deep inside, she's already preparing herself for what's coming next. Huyen finally agrees to listen, but only because she doesn't want to create a scene in front of the neighbors. They move to sit in the small garden area, with Dee standing a respectful distance away, close enough to hear but giving them space. Thuck sets down his expensive gifts and takes a deep breath before he begins to speak. "Huyen, I know I have no right to be here. I know what I did to you was unforgivable." His voice cracks slightly, and for a moment he looks genuinely broken. "I threw away the best thing I ever had. You were everything, and I was too blind, too stupid to see it." He tells her about his life after she left. The woman he had an affair with, the woman he chose over Huyen, turned out to be nothing like he thought. She was with him for his money, his status. When his business hit a rough patch last year, she didn't hesitate to leave him for someone wealthier. "I lost everything that mattered," Thuck continues, his hands clasped tightly together. "My marriage to her fell apart within 2 years. She took half of everything and left. But you know what the worst part was? Every single day, I thought about you. About how you would make me coffee in the morning, how you'd laugh at my terrible jokes, how you never asked for expensive things. You just wanted me to be present, to be faithful, and I couldn't even give you that." Huyen listens, her face impassive. She's heard apologies before. Empty words meant to soothe guilt rather than heal wounds. But Thuck isn't finished. He leans forward, his eyes intense and pleading. "I've changed, Huyen. I've had years to think about what I lost. I'm not asking you to forget what I did. I know I can never erase that pain, but I'm asking you to give me a chance to make it right. Come back to me. Bring Maya back to me." He gestures toward the expensive car, toward the gifts. "I can give you everything now. A big house in the city, the best schools for Maya, vacations abroad, a comfortable life where you never have to worry about money again. Maya is my daughter. She deserves to have her real father in her life. She deserves to grow up with both her parents, not in poverty with a man who can barely provide for himself, let alone for a family." The words hit like arrows, and Dee, standing nearby, feels each one pierce through him. He knows he's poor. He knows he can't give Maya private school or fancy toys or trips to the beach. He works with his hands, comes home tired and dirty, counts every penny to make sure there's enough for food. And here is Thuck, offering everything Dee can't provide. But Thuck isn't done. He pulls out his phone and shows Huyen pictures. A beautiful house with a garden. A room already decorated for a little girl with pink walls and stuffed animals. Expensive toys still in their boxes. "I've been preparing this for months," he says quietly. "I've been trying to find the courage to come here. I know I hurt you, but people make mistakes. I made a terrible mistake, and I've paid for it every day since. But Maya shouldn't have to pay for my mistakes. She deserves her real father. She deserves a complete family." Huyen stares at the pictures, and for a moment, just a moment, she imagines what that life would look like. Maya in a clean school uniform, running through that beautiful house, never knowing what it means to go hungry or wear hand-me-down clothes. It's tempting, not for herself, but for her daughter. Every mother wants the best for her child. Thuck sees the hesitation in her eyes and presses further. "Think about Maya, Huyen. Not about us. Not about the past. Think about what's best for our daughter. I'm her father. Biology matters. Blood matters. She needs me." Silence falls over the garden. Huyen closes her eyes for a moment, and in that darkness, memories flood through her mind. She remembers the night she caught Thuck with another woman, the way her world shattered into pieces. She remembers packing her bags while crying so hard she could barely breathe. Remembers the coldness in Thuck's eyes when he chose wealth and excitement over their marriage. She remembers the months of sleeping on her sister's couch, pregnant and abandoned, wondering how she would survive. But then other memories come. She remembers the first time Day met Maya, how he knelt down to the little girl's level and spoke to her so gently. She remembers the countless nights Day stayed up when Maya had fever, pressing cool cloths to her forehead, singing lullabies in his rough voice until she fell asleep. She remembers how Day saves money from his meager wages to buy Maya new school supplies, how he walks her to school every morning even when his back aches from work, how he calls her my daughter with such natural love that even Maya has started calling him Ba. Huyen opens her eyes and looks at Thuck. Really, looks at him. She sees a man wearing an expensive suit, but carrying the emptiness of someone who finally realized what he lost. Then she turns to look at Day, standing there in his simple work clothes, his face weathered from sun and labor, but his eyes full of genuine concern, not for himself, but for her happiness, for her choice. She turns back to Thuck, and when she speaks, her voice is steady and clear. "Thuck, you said Maya needs her real father. You said biology matters, that blood matters. But you're wrong." She stands up, her posture straight and strong. A father isn't someone who shares DNA. A father is someone who shows up, someone who wipes away tears at midnight, someone who celebrates every small victory like it's a miracle. Someone who loves not because of obligation, but because they choose to every single day. Thuck starts to interrupt, but Huyen holds up her hand. "You talk about giving Maya everything. A big house, expensive toys, good schools. But do you know what Maya needs most? She needs to feel safe. She needs to feel loved unconditionally. She needs to see what a real relationship looks like, built on respect, trust, and genuine care. She needs to learn that a person's worth isn't measured by their bank account. Huyen's voice grows stronger. Day is not a rich man. He can't buy her designer clothes or take her to fancy restaurants. But you know what he does? He teaches her how to plant vegetables and tells her about how things grow. He helps her with homework even though he's exhausted from work. He makes her laugh with silly jokes. He holds her hand when she's scared. He has given Maya something you never could. He's given her a father who actually wants to be there, not out of duty or guilt, but out of pure love. She takes a deep breath. You asked me to think about what's best for Maya. I am thinking about her, and I know, with complete certainty, that what's best for her is to grow up in a home filled with genuine love, even if that home is small. What's best for her is to learn that happiness doesn't come from material things, but from the people who truly care about you. What's best for her is to have a father figure who respects her mother and treats her with dignity. Huyen steps closer to Day, and he immediately puts his arm around her shoulders, a gesture so natural, so protective, so full of quiet strength. I am very happy with my life now, Thuck. Day is a good man. He loves Maya like she's his own daughter. Maya doesn't lack a father's love because Day has given her that love. Real, true, unconditional love. That's something you can't buy with money, and it's something you lost the right to give when you chose someone else over your family. She picks up the flowers and gifts and hands them back to Thuck. Please go, Thuck. Don't come back. Maya has a father, a real one who earned that title through his actions, not his blood. And I have a partner who values me not for what I look like or what I can do for him, but for who I am. We don't have much, but we have everything that matters. We have each other, and we have love. That's more than enough. Thuck stands there, stunned. He looks at Day, really looks at him this time, and sees something he didn't expect. A man standing tall despite his poverty, secure in the knowledge that he's loved and valued. Thuck realizes, perhaps for the first time, that wealth without character is nothing. He's lost not because he doesn't have enough money to offer, but because he doesn't have the one thing that actually matters: genuine, selfless love. Without another word, Thuck gets back into his expensive car. As he drives away, Day pulls Huyen closer, and she leans into him, feeling the tension drain from her body. From inside the house, they hear Maya's voice. "Ba Day, where are you?" And Day smiles, calling back, "Coming, sweetheart!" Because that's what he is. Not her biological father, but her real father, in every way that counts. And so we reach the end of this powerful chapter in Huyen's journey. A moment where she had to choose between material comfort, genuine happiness, between her past and her present, between what society says is right and what her heart knows is true. Huyen's decision teaches us something profound, that family is not defined by blood or biology, but by love, commitment, and the daily choice to show up for each other. Day may not be Maya's biological father, but he is her real father in every meaningful way. He has proven that being a parent isn't about sharing genes. It's about sharing your time, your heart, your life. And Maya is growing up understanding that love is not measured in dollars, but in moments, in care, in presence. What did you think about Huyen's choice? Do you believe she made the right decision? Would you have done the same? And what about Thuck? Do you think people truly change? Or was he simply lonely and regretful? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If this story touched your heart, please hit that like button, subscribe to Life Single Review, and turn on notifications for more emotional stories. Share this with someone who needs to hear that real love is always worth more than material wealth. This is Life Single Review, and I'll see you in the next story. Take care, everyone.